Now we're ready to start programming the laser. Make sure you've clicked the laser down at the bottom, not the X to delete it. And once you have, you should see the laser sprite show up right here. So I know I'm coding the laser now. Once again, the very first thing that we're going to think about with the sprite is what should happen at the beginning and end of the game. So we'll go to events and we'll use our block that says when the green flag is clicked, and we'll use the block that says when I receive game over. So what should happen to this sprite? Do you want to see this sprite when you start the game? No, you don't. So we're going to hide it because we don't want to see it when the game starts. Do you want to see the sprite when you end the game? No, you don't. So you also want to hide the sprite when you end the game too. And what this does is it lets us make sure that the sprite only shows up when we want it to show up. When do we want the sprite to show up? This laser, we want it to show up when we push a key, like the space bar. So we need another event. So we're going to come here to events, and we're going to use the space bar as the key to fire here. Okay. So when the space bar is pushed, we'll use a looks block that says show. So hide when the game starts, hide when the game ends, but when the space bar is clicked, show. Now, if you try that right now and click the space bar, it looks like nothing happens, but actually you're going to see a tiny orange thing show up way up there. So it did show up. Now we got to figure out how to get it to the spacecraft right there. So we're going to say show yourself. We're going to go up to our motion blocks. And one of the things that we'll do is we're going to scroll down, and we need to find the block that says set Y. Set Y, not change Y, set Y. Set Y means set this number, which is where the sprite is at, up and down. So the Y variable is up and down. Set this number to something specific. And we're going to choose the number -125. So -125, if I go ahead and push the space bar right now, is right about there. So there's my sprite, which is great. But it doesn't follow my ship. Okay. So I need another block. And another block is the set X block. So I'm going to set the X, not change, but set the X. And then it's going to set the X to, and this says -22. If I hit the space bar, well, that sprite stays right where it's at. And if I move, it still stays right where it's at. And the problem is that 22 is a non-changing number. It doesn't change. It's the same. But my ship is changing all the time. I need a variable. One of the variables that I made in the beginning of my coding exercise. So I need to go back to variables here. Here's variables. And one of the things that we said is changing all the time is the ship X. And we wrote code for that earlier on when we were doing the spacecraft. We changed ship X. We set the value to ship X all the time. So we're going to drag ship X into our oval here. And this says set X to ship X. And ship X is whatever this number is right here. So now I can move left and push the space bar, and my laser should show up right in between my two little pointers there. And as I move left and right, it's going to show up there and there. So it kind of follows me around. Great. But now how do I get it to shoot up? So to shoot up, I want it to go up and up and up, but not forever, just until you hit the edge of the screen. When you hit the edge of the screen, I don't really care what happens after that, but it could be kind of difficult if it just shoots on forever and ever. So I'm going to use a block that is control, and we're going to find the control block that says repeat until. So we need to repeat until some condition is met. The condition that we're going to meet is a sensing block, and that sensing block is a touching block. So let's do this until you're touching, and now this says mouse pointer. Let's go ahead and drag that hexagon out there. It says mouse pointer, but I can change it to be something else. Oh, here it is, until you're touching the edge. So do this until you touch the edge, laser sprite. We want to change our Y position. So we're going to go to motion, and we want to change, not set anymore, but change the Y position by 10. So that means that until the sprite touches the edge of the screen, it's going to go 10 steps up, 10 steps up, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Let's give it a try. There it goes. I'll move left. There it goes. More. There it goes. This is how I can fire. But I need to also program my laser to do something when it touches the alien. So if I fire at my alien, it just kind of goes through it. Nothing happens. So let's think about the code that we would need to happen when we actually hit the alien. So we are going to go back to control. And sometimes when I move, I hit the alien, and sometimes I don't. So I need a block that says, if I hit the alien, do these things. And I've got that one right here. It says, if hexagon, then. So I want to drag that inside, it's a nested loop here, inside my block that says, if something happens, then what? In this case, we're going to sense that we touch the alien. So we want to change this so it says, if you're touching the alien, we use a sensing block. If you're touching the alien, then do these things. So let's think, what should we do when we touch our alien? Okay, so when we touch our alien, we want to change our score, and that's a variable. So we're going to go over to variables, and we're going to say change. Use this block here that says change, not set. Change the score by 1. The other thing that we want to have happen is we want the alien to speed up. So we're going to use not a set block, we're going to do another one, change, and we're going to say the speed by 1. You can change your score variable if you want, and you can change your speed variable if you want as well. So maybe you want to score 10 points when you score something. Maybe you want to speed up by 2, or maybe you want to just leave it as 1. I like to leave it as 1, but you can kind of change those values in those blocks if you want. So we're going to change the score, change the speed. If I give this a try right now, oh look, I'm scoring points, but I'm kind of scoring a lot of points. And the reason that I score a lot of points is because the laser is actually traveling through the alien, and it's scoring points like every single time it touches it. So like every 1/10 of a second. So I need some more code. So the next line of code that I'm going to have is I'm going to choose an event block. And the event block that I need is a broadcast block. This broadcast block, we're going to broadcast a message. And the message isn't game over. The message is going to be hit. We're going to broadcast hit. We broadcasted hit before too. So we're going to broadcast hit. Then we're going to hide ourselves. We don't want to continue to go through the alien. We want to just hide like so. And then even if we hide, we still are going to be kind of gaining some of these points. So what we're going to do next is we're going to say another control block that says stop this script, like stop doing all of this. So stop, and we'll change it from all to say this script. No more doing this. And then at the very, very end, we're going to use a block that says looks, we are going to hide ourselves. Okay, so this is what our program looks like right here. We hit ourselves when the green flag is clicked. We hit ourselves when game over happens. And then to fire ourselves, when the space bar is pressed, we'll show up. We'll go to -125 for our Y. We'll go to the ship X for our X. Then we'll repeat until we touch the edge, change the Y by 10. That means go up. If we touch the alien, we're going to change our score by 10, change our speed by 1, broadcast hit. We'll hide ourselves and stop ourselves. And at the very end, we're going to hide ourselves as well. So we've got our ship program, we've got our our laser program, and now we're ready to start programming our alien.